Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. And the stream deck just died. It's Monday. So, for those of you that might have wanted to watch on Twitch, Twitch is foobar right now for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it. I can't get logged in, can't get connected. I can't even view any channels, even logged out. So, I don't know. Twitch is just like finito right now. It's on life support. So I don't know what's going on with that. So we're just on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. Nobody watches on Twitter anyway, so whatever. But hey, it's Monday, so that's kind of, I guess, par for the course at this point, right? If you missed Gunpla Talk yesterday, you missed a good one. Our boy Simon was back with us. It was amazing to see him and get to talk to him. Kind of, oh, what? Twitch is connected? Charles Dodge says Twitch is connected. News to me. If it is, it is. That's cool. Whatever. Yeah. It says unauthorized. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to troubleshoot Twitch right now. I don't feel like it. But anyway, like I said, Simon was on yesterday with us on Gunpla Talk. It was really awesome to see him. He's doing very well. He's back modeling. He's working on a Jesta, the whole 9 yards. So it was really, really good to kind of have him back in the fold, so to speak. So if you haven't watched it, go check it out after between my 2 streams today. Yeah, it's really, really nice seeing him. Really nice. Kind of felt good. So, and the whole team was back together yesterday. We had the whole 5 of us. It was like Voltron reformed. It was great. So, and it was just one of those episodes where we just kind of talked, you know. And I think, honestly, we probably needed that. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Kind of missed that, honestly. So it was really good. So definitely go check that out on Zach's channel. Yeah, it was good times. Anyway, hey, rocking a bear guy today. Just felt like it. Felt like a bear guy day. If you want one of these awesome bear guy shirts, I highly suggest you hit up www.shadowmecha.com. Hit the store button up at the top. You'll find shirts, hats, all sorts of other cool stuff on there, prints and everything. Go load up. I hear they make wonderful shelter and home presents, because that's what we got today. Yes, we got the order to stay home today from our governor here in Maryland. So we're officially staying at home, as if we weren't doing that already. But aside from that, if you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we are going to be working with here today, then I highly suggest that you hit the Amazon link just below here on YouTube, and maybe not Twitch. That side if you're watching on Facebook. I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it goes to help support the channel, the stream, and all that fun stuff, and all kinds of new endeavors, which I will be sharing here momentarily. Ooh. So also, if you are in need of kits or paints or accessories, tools, what have you, Mecha Decals right here, sheet 2, which should be shipping. I highly suggest that you hit up our good friends right down here at USA Gundam Store. Adam and his crew will definitely have what you need. So, with that being said, let's talk new endeavors. Just for a few seconds, yeah? Robert Cottrell, he's over there in the Facebook, or in the Mech Army Facebook group. What's going on, Robert? But new endeavors. So, streaming's full-time. That's locked in. That's locked and loaded. We're good there, right? Videos are still a work in progress, but we're easing ever closer. I think, just a few fine-tunings on certain things here on my side, and then we should be ready to go with that, right? Mainly video lists and finalizing that stuff, getting shots, determined, and just all that, secondary stuff, right? Actually, the filming part is easy. It's the planning and then the post-production. That's the time-consuming and hard parts, right? Mainly because I do videography. Did videography for a living. It's still not getting used to that one, is it? Nope, we're not. I did videography for a living, so, or at least part of what I did, so my expectations for videos is rather high. So when I put out a video, obviously, it's not going to be your run-of-the-mill video. It's not going to be your ho-hum, hey, let me show you how to do something type of video, right? It's just not. So that eases ever closer to fruition. The book, I'm not sure if we kind of talked about the book here in a while, but the book obviously is going to be fast-tracked. That is a definite. And what I envision now is a little something different from what I envisioned before, right? So what I'm thinking now, and it's still going to be a book on detailing, right? George says, you making fun of me, Tim? That's the kind of video I do. No, man. Your videos are wholesome, George. And just good. So no. But anyway, so the book, what I'm thinking is, obviously it's going to be, like I said, on detailing. And what my vision is now kind of evolved to is to have, say, I don't know, 50 to maybe 100 examples of details that you can put on your model, from beginner level to advanced, right? And that's kind of what I'm thinking. In combinations of scribing, of pre-made parts, of scratch-built parts, all that good stuff. So I'm thinking that's kind of the direction that we need to go in, because there's not, to my knowledge, been a book specifically about, detailing, adding details, things of that nature. So I think that would be a good topic, for a first run, first run at a book. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that direction as of right now. Check back with me in 2 months. So, we got all that. We've talked about rolling out Patreon. That's still a work in progress. Another idea that I had here just kind of recently is to start a podcast. And not necessarily like a podcast like Joel and the boys over at the Cutting Mat do. Nothing like that, where they just kind of sit around and talk. No, completely different format. So, I mean, I don't want to step on toes. I don't want to tread, and tread on, already walked path. All all that stuff. I don't want to do that. I want to do something different, right? So what I was thinking is do maybe like either a monthly or bi-monthly type of thing, where it's a one-on-one interview type of get to know X modeler, whatever. And I think people would dig that, right? Almost in the vein of like Inside the Actor's Studio, right? If you've never seen it, you've probably seen the skits on Saturday Night Live of Inside the Actor's Studio. You know, when I thought about it, I don't want to necessarily ask the same old questions, right? Like, what got you into modeling? Who's your biggest inspiration? What's your favorite mobile suit? No, I don't want to know that shit. Maybe we'll cover that, but that's, nah. No. I want to know more. I want to know about the person, right? And I think that could be really kind of cool. I think that could be really, really interesting. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Hendren says, so what are you going to ask them? More about them, more about their lives and kind of stuff like that. You know, a true kind of interview type of thing, right? Like I said, you look at you know, the guy, I forget the gentleman's name from Inside the Actor's Studio. George Lipton? I think that was his name. I think that is. But you know, I looked up an example the other night where he was interviewing Harrison Ford, right? And straight out of the gate, his first question was like, where'd you grow up? How was your childhood? Stuff like that. Like background stuff. James Lipton. Okay. James Lipton. I knew it was... I was close. James Lipton. Thank you, Chris Barnes. But... I think that would be kind of cool to get to know the background of people and to really kind of get insight on the people that either we associate with, look up to, whatever, you know? I think it could be kind of cool, right? Because aside from what we do, aside from modeling and stuff like that, and rare instances where we see people in modeling shows or conventions or stuff like that, and you know, maybe on the off chance that you talk to them, you know, online and stuff. I mean, do you really, you know the background of like a person, you know? And I think that's interesting. I don't know, you know? I think it could be really, really a cool thing, you know? So I've been kind of batting around ideas on that, and I think I want to start that, right? Yeah, I think I already have my mind made up. I think I'm going to do it. Screw it. But, yeah, Henry says some things needs to be kept for themselves, in my opinion, because some things might turn his or her fans away from them once found out, regardless of their talent and work. I mean, it's all on what the person wants to share, right? Not like I'm holding a gun to somebody's head saying, tell me the information. No. Not at all. But, yeah, I think it's a good idea. I think it's different. Because we don't have anything like that. At least in our hobby. that I know of. Yeah. I think we're doing it. I think I have my mind made up. Yeah. We're doing it. Screw it. Just do it. Right? Hey, real quick. Miss John Lynn. Sweet baby J. She's over there on YouTube. Guys, it's her birthday today. She is 21 years old. So if you're over on YouTube, please wish her a happy birthday. Happy birthday, John Lynn. You amazing little minion, you. Look at that. Mr. Nico Sanchez, Tejada Sanchez. Such a regal name. He's over there on the Facebook Army. The Mecha Army Facebook group. I'm going to get that right one of these days. I swear to you. He says, that sounds awesome. I really like the idea. Thank you, Nico. I appreciate that, buddy. If you're not familiar with Nico, he was last year's Canadian GBWC champion. Had the pleasure of meeting him in Japan last year. Got to hang out with him a lot. That was a lot of fun. Gary, Mr. Wyrag Gumper, he's also over there in the Mecha Army Facebook group, and he says, that'll be cool. I dig it. 100. Nice. Thank you. So, all right. So, yeah. So, that's being forced into this type of lifestyle may very well be a blessing in disguise. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, right? We'll have to wait and see. But, let's get to work. Yeah? Camera 2. Here we go. All right, so let's see. Last time we were together, we were working on the scribe detail on the back of the head. We're not going to worry about that today. Okay? We're not going to worry about that today. What I did over the weekend was minimal. Filled in all 4 of the leg gaps here. Still have to sand these down, but they look pretty damn good. This was the one that we finished last week, and there's the 3rd one that we filled in. So those are going off to the side. We're not going to worry about those either today, mainly because you've already seen me, work with that, finish those off and everything. So I'm not going to put you through that again. What we are going to be working on today are these guys right here, the upper arms and shoulders, and we'll probably spend all day on these, honestly. Kyle, Mr. Clueless Gunpla, he's over there. Remember, no regrets, Tim. Whatever. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing, like I said, we're going to be working on these guys. Mainly just detailing these and gluing up this seam and filling that in and all that fun stuff. And then just kind of doing something with these because we need to. So that comes off first. Let's get this top part off here. Just basically breaking these down, yeah. Good there. Pop that off. These little bottom covers, they just kind of slot into this shoulder section here, yeah. And it's not like a normal round peg. It's like a square peg, and it's just really freaking annoying. But this is a high-grade shoulder, so that's kind of expected, right? There we go. All right, so now we can yank that apart, get this shoulder piece pulled out there, and there we go. All that work for that one little piece to come out, right? And that, unfortunately, kids, is locked in here too. So that's going to be something that we have to consider later on, right? And then this joint here, right? This little, the elbow joint, is, in a word, annoying. And I'll tell you why. Because it's basically just connected by friction and a single little peg and a poly cap. That's it. And you just smash this thing together, and these two sides move independently from one another, right? So there's no gluing this, and there's not a ton of stability in this either, which has a lot to be desired. Let's put it that way. But what we got to work with, yeah? Again, this isn't a GBWC build, so I'm not trying to put, a ton of work into this thing, even though I probably will. Okay, just checking to see if my light was on back there. It is. So we're gonna do our due diligence, though. We're gonna make this thing look as good as possible for what it is, and we'll just kind of take it from there. Now, Pabs says I need a part separator. I do not need a part separator because I have a hobby knife, buddy. Go hurt yourself. What's up, Pabs? Tim wins with an SD. Oh, God, no. Mr. Lucas, persistent turtle over there on YouTube. No. Manny, Mr. McDeo, he's over there. So Tim is doing a Who Are You? This Is Your Life podcast now? Sweet. Yeah, well, that's kind of the plan, yeah? I want to. I need to basically just make plans and get that kind of locked in and all that. Like, I've already made plans for the platform and everything and how to do it and all that good stuff. But it's just really getting the time, and obviously, because time is never on anyone's side. Even now, time is surprisingly not on my side. Crazy, because you'd think being laid off and being ordered to stay home that you have all the time in the world. It's actually not, which is weird, right? Actually not. Alright, so what we're going to do first is we're going to knock this kind of boring stuff out of the way first. We are going to get these shoulder units glued up and looking good here. So we're going to... I shouldn't have taken that one off in retrospect, but hindsight being what it is always 20/20. So we're going to leave just a small gap there. We're going to put this sucker back together, and then we're going to seam this up, right? But yeah, so today, like I said earlier, Maryland basically got the order to from our governor to stay home, right? Not necessarily a shelter in place, but stay home. A stern stay home, right? So everybody's staying home. Anyway. George says, anybody thinking Tim may skewer himself again separating parts? No. Because we finished that game. It was a 4-2 win for Pabs. We calculated that the other night on watching Chris's live stream on YouTube. Yeah. So if you guys didn't know, Chris Pabs is streaming on YouTube now, one night a week. That must be nice. right, now we smash these together. And watch the ooze come out. Yeah. Obviously, you can't see it at home because the contrast is terrible on these white parts because they're completely blown out. But, yeah, it just, everything just, the squeeze out was amazing. I don't know why squeeze out would be amazing, but I'm just saying. Anyway. Good there. Boom. Good. All right. So we'll set those two off to the side. We don't got to worry about those anymore. We're not going to detail those up hardly at all. Mainly because they're not going to be seen very well. So not a big deal. John Lynn says, Pabby streams are lit. Yeah. Hey, Jacob Cook. He's over there on YouTube. He says, what up, y'all? Hey, Tim. What's going on, Jacob? Good to see you, buddy. Manny says, so, Tim, can I start calling you Tim Skylark? No? I don't know, Manny. The reference is lost on me. I don't get it. Sorry, buddy. Alright. So, what I want to do next is kind of focus on these bits here. These are kind of the underneath of the shoulders, right? If we look, and I'm grabbing the stupid little SD one here to kind of give you an understanding of what these parts are here. So basically these parts right here, right? We got to do something about this. This is crazy. It's so bright. It's not even funny. So let's back that there. Yeah, it's not too bad. Let's one more. No, that's too dark. Okay. There we go. That's much better. Chip Skylark. It's from the movie called The Interview. I've never seen it. Sorry, Manny. Yeah. Never saw it. My bad, dude. Never saw it. So, yeah. Again, it's lost on me. Okay. So what these parts are here is this little guy right here, kind of underneath, the shoulder. But these are much more prominent on the high grade shoulder, obviously, than the SD shoulder here. So we're definitely going to kind of do something about this here. But before that, we need to get these guys popped out of their little homes here. Yeah. There we go. All right. So first things first, obviously we're going to need to get our eyes on for this because these are teeny tiny parts, and we need to do some work on these things here, right? So looking at that, obviously what we're going to need first is to reinforce that middle line there, right? So I'm going to start with 0.20, and then we'll see kind of what that looks like. Now, before we start, let me get this background monitor on here for you guys so I can see what the hell I'm doing. Come on now. Should have probably turned this on before the stream, so bear with me. There we are. Okay, cool. So now we can see, I can see exactly if I'm in frame or not, right? All right, so let's see if, yeah, that should be decent enough, a decent enough size to reinforce this line here. We might jump it to a 0.30. No. Yeah, that looks good. That, I think we'll keep that. That looks nice. All right. Yeah, that looks good. All right, so we're not necessarily done just with basically reinforcing this line. No, we're going to do a little bit more here in just a second. And just kind of basic detailing at this point. Because I think we've got most of the structural stuff, well, most of the structural hurdles done, right? So we're going to kind of do more detailing at this point, right? So that's all we need the 0.204. So we're done with that. Now we're going to need one of our little scribing jigs here, and we're going to grab the 1 millimeter little scribing jig, and that's going to give us a nice, I think a nice little. Yeah, I think that'll do nicely here. So we're gonna grab 0.3. This is one of our favorite chisels for notching and things like that, and that's what we're gonna be doing next. We're just gonna make some little notches on this guy, on both sides of this line here, and you'll see kind of the effect here in a second, because what this is basically like it's kind of like a vent or a thruster cover. Right? So you have to imagine that these two halves here would hinge open, and then that would reveal a thruster, like a side thruster on the side, or a vent or something like that, right? So this is actually a fairly popular look nowadays, like an aesthetic with modelers, especially in places like Japan and stuff like that, because obviously I troll the Japanese Twitter and everything, and this is like a kind of a big thing right now, right? Okay. So that's one side. Now we are going to need our 0.20 here just to clean out the debris from the line. Right there, like that. That looks good. And then we'll switch back to 0.30 to kind of reinforce this thing here. Now, one problem that I have with this particular part is it feels like kind of soft plastic, like that weird plastic that the Sinanju Stein, like the inner frame and some of the parts are made of. It's just, I don't know, it's a weird feeling plastic. It feels almost like a mix between polycap material and polystyrene, right? So like a mix between, what is it, polypropylene, I think it is, that polycaps are made out of, and styrene. You know, it feels less dense, right? And I'm just not sure if I like it or not. So it's just one of those things that we have to work through and deal with, right? But we'll get this scribed with 0 issues here. Okay. Now this one on this side is a fair bit longer than the first one we did, so we're gonna have to come in here and just extend that first notch that we did just a little bit. That looks fairly good. Maybe just a bit more there. There we go. All right, and then let's get the debris out of that middle section here. Okay. And there we go. Just simple little notches like that can make a world of difference, right? But we're not necessarily done just yet. I want to add just a wee little bit more detail on this thing in the form of where is that? Where's that half round here? Is this it? This looks like it. This is it. Here we go. This is wonderful stuff. This is half round. You can kind of see it there. 1 millimeter half round strip, right? If you guys see me work with this, you have seen me make some cool little details that simulate lights, right? And that's kind of what we're going to be doing here. Is making just kind of like a little piece that goes on here, kind of like a light, right? And I'll show you what I mean here momentarily. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this down a good amount, right about there. That looks to be pretty good. Now we're going to have to trim this one side here a little bit because it is not squared. It's even less so now. That's much better. Cool. Okay, good, good, good. All right, so now we can glue this on to the actual piece here real quick. But to do that first, we're going to get our little plastic palette and just a little drop of super glue. We're going to get a little piece of scrap styrene here, right? And then we're going to stab this guy with our hobby knife just a little. And then I'm going to apply just enough super glue to the back of this thing, and then we are going to apply this right there, just above that middle opening, right? We're going to press this guy into place. And then this will start to become a really, really cool little detail. And this will definitely, definitely be part of the book of detailing that I do. But first, we need to get that glue squeeze out. Cleaned up there, and that looks pretty good. Do the other side here. Very nice. Very nice. And so there we have just that simple little piece. Now provides just a little bit of a different look, right? So now, again, we're not done. We're not done. What we're going to do is we're going to grab our panel lining chisel, our 0.15, and we're going to go to work outlining this thing first and foremost. And then we're going to put our lines in for the light, the simulated lights and everything, right? So let's get this outline scribed first. And this is kind of the delicate part here, because with the wrong amount of pressure, this thing will pop right off this piece. So we need to have a delicate hand in this outline scribing that we're going to be doing here. Just kind of sneak up on that corner a little bit. There we are. And then we just start spinning this sucker around. Now, since I'm right-handed, I like to go in a counterclockwise scribing direction, connecting the line that I'm scribing to the line that I had previously scribed. And what that's going to do is that's going to cause the line that I'm currently scribing, which is this one right here, it's going to cause like a backstop, and it's going to cause that chisel to stop dead in its tracks and not progress any further, right? So that's kind of a good method to outline scribing, and you can kind of see it. And when I kind of draw out this line here, boom, it just stops dead in its tracks right there because it reached that previous line. Now, obviously, we need to go back every once in a while with these scribes here, and we need to clean out the debris, or else that chisel is going to ramp on that stuff, and that will be very bad. Very bad for me, because that'll mar the surface and it'll just look really not good. And it's always a good thing to go in the opposite direction of what you scribed in every once in a while, just to make sure that that line is nice and clean, make sure the corners are crisp, all that good stuff, right? So switch it up every once in a while. We'll be in good shape. All right, so that side's done. Move on to this last side here, and then we're going to get to forming that kind of pseudo light look, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a minute. We need to get this this outline scribe done first, because that is the basis for everything. Reason being is that it separates, this part essentially separates from the rest of it, right? Because if you have space there, it looks like the parts are completely separate. Then at that point you can, when you go to panel line this thing, that will catch that panel lining fluid, and then it will look like a shadow, right? And those parts will easily sell the illusion of being two separate parts, right? And that's really what we're going after. Yeah? It's really what we're going after. All right. Now we just kind of connect these lines all together, and we just give it one final go around here. And maybe we go in the opposite direction. This is a super, super tiny piece. And I know the camera is kind of jumping back and forth in terms of focus here. Mainly because I'm holding this above my bench top here. Alright, that looks pretty good. We just need to finalize. Just clean up this corner right here. But that looks pretty good. Let's get super zoomed in so you guys can see a little bit better of what I'm talking about here, yeah? Let's see. Super zoom, where'd it go? There it is. There's our box. Right there. And zoom. There it is. All right, so this is essentially what we're going for. Let me prop this up here so you guys can see a little bit better. And there it is, right? So this is the look that we're going for, right? This is the look that we're going for. Now, it looks like I missed a comment by Charles Dodge over there. He says, have you already selected a printer? And an idea to consider is using a coil binding so that people can lay the book out flat while practicing examples. It's a good idea, Charles. But the one thing that we need to be careful of is that that adds to the cost. You know, now mind you, we don't want to cut corners. That's the last thing we want to do. We want to make a quality book, high quality book, right? So we got to kind of weigh the pros and cons with everything, right? So it's one of those things. He says, I know, I'm a librarian. I've looked into self-publishing. Yeah. You know, and I know being in this hobby for so damn long, you tend to get to know everybody, and I know a bunch of people that have books, right? Kevin, Mr. Dash, Anupong Chanarong, who did the two, the first scribing book and others. Then the other one was detailing. It wasn't really detailing. It was just general modeling more than anything. So I think selecting a printer will be a hurdle that we jump farther down the line. It's actually getting the content created and the book laid out and all that good stuff. I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful I was a graphic designer in a previous profession, or else I'd be in really deep doo-doo. Yeah, so that's all TBD at this point. All TBD. Terry T says, I always have a hard time getting rid of sanding scratches from that soft plastic. Yeah, it's a pain in the butt is what it is. Hands down. So, yeah. But anywho, all right. So this is the kind of the look that we're going for pre lighting, pseudo lighting. And what we're going to do next is we're going to make two vertical scribes into this half round, right? And then what that's going to do is it's going to make your two bumpers on the side and then a nice larger block of plastic in the middle. And then when we go to paint that, we can paint that larger block in the middle some super bright color, red, green, what have you, yellow. Just something to indicate that it is lit up, so to speak. And then obviously the two bumper pieces on the sides will be kind of like a grayish color, you know, something offset from the rest of this piece, right? So it'll be a very, very nice look once we're done. But we need to get these two scribe lines, these vertical scribe lines done up here. But to do that, let's get the hell out of Super Zoom and go back to normal and pull our windows back up. Bada boom, bada bing. There we go. All right, so now we've got to determine where our scribe lines are going to go, right? So first things first is we're going to draw these guys in here first and foremost. So we're going to go right about there, right about there. And as you can see, maybe, let's get there. That's a little bit better, yeah. So as you can see, it creates that two bumpers on the side and then that nice big block of space in the middle. And then once we hit this with panel lining fluid, that will completely sell the look of separation. So, yeah. Kyle says the good thing about working on the book now is you can do it alongside your tutorial videos. Yeah, the thing is though, Kyle, I don't want the book to be just a regurgitation of the videos, right? I want the book to be something completely separate. So the stuff that you'll see in the book, you will not see in either the live streams or the tutorial videos, and vice versa, right? The book will be a unique, standalone thing with a ton of collected ideas for detail pieces and things that you can do with all that good stuff. So, yeah, it'll be completely unique in that regard. Chris Dodge says high-res stills from select videos. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not. Those are going to be, like I said, completely separate and unique. Completely separate and unique. Chris Pab says, I want a pun in every chapter, please. Maybe. He also says, Tim, are those half-round polystyrene pieces? Yes, they are. I couldn't tell if they are flat or round. No, this is a half-round piece. Showed that a little bit before. This guy right here. It's focusing. There we go. Now we got it to focus. And you can kind of see that is very much a half-round. But being 1 millimeter, it's super tiny, right? Super, super duper tiny. So we need to take a look at this thing and get this scribed ever so carefully. Now, again, we're going to be using our 0.15 right there. That is our chisel of choice. But before we do that, let's take a moment to practice chisel discipline. We don't need these anymore, so we put the caps on them. We save ourselves a lot of time, a lot of money, and a lot of heartache. So there we go. All right, now we get to scribing. And what we're going to do, which goes against most of the rules that I kind of lay forth, is we're going to be pushing into this material, but just really, really lightly. Really lightly. Because we want to, since this is half round and so small, that we can't, and so delicate, I might add, is we can't just, number one, we can't pull the line across because that'll pop the piece right off of this this part. And then also too, we can't use scribing tape at this point, right? We might be able to get away with a scribing jig, but that will be awkward. Since this is half round, it will kind of teeter-totter on that, so that could cause issues. So what we're basically forced to do is freehand this thing and push into the material, which double trouble there, right? Two of the big no-nos that I always kind of preach. But for this particular instance, in this particular type of part, for this practice, it's unfortunately very necessary. So we just kind of nibble away at this plastic here with the chisel. Spin this around and get to the other side here. And then once we have this line formed, then we can go back and finalize it out with better scribing practices, right? Just like that. Alright, there we go. Now the line is formed. We still need to be super careful because this part is extremely, extremely delicate, even with super glue. But now we can start to pull instead of push and deepen that that line and kind of finalize its shape. We're just going to be very, very delicate with this whole thing. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right. So now we're not done yet. We got a whole second line here to put into place. Clear this material out here. There. And then we can just start wrapping this line around. And we'll get you super zoomed in here in just a few seconds here once we get these two lines formed here. Okay, there's one side. Let's spin this around, get the other side. Alright, so that we got that line formed, let's get some of this debris out of here. And now we can just kind of go back and really just finalize this line here. Good there. Both sides, and this is looking good. I like how this is coming out. All right, now just kind of clear all that out of there. Ooh, yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right, so let's get Let's get this propped up. We'll get super zoomed in here in just a second so you guys can see this in really, really hardcore detail, right? Let's see. Oh, we were almost dead on center. Not quite there. Right about there. All right. Then the big reveal. Bang! There we are. So now, as you can kind of see, with these two vertical lines here, let's move this down just a bit more into the center, and I will kind of give that a little bit of shading there, just so that it has a little bit of a better contrast. You can see how it has this much larger block right here in the center, and these two little side pieces, they look like bumpers to kind of hold on, hold that light into place, right? And then you can see the outline scribe around that, the two notches below. Yeah, this is the look that we're going for this particular piece. That looks really, really good, in my opinion. Yeah, I think it looks good. And now we set this back into place in the piece here. And let's see how it looks once it's actually in the housing here. Yeah. Okay. And let's get one of these shoulders put back together, and then we can kind of see how the finished kind of product looks, right? Let's see. Is this the right way? Yeah, it is. I think it is anyway. Maybe. No, this is the right way. Is it? Yeah, here we go. All right, cool. Jesus. And then we'll put these two little suckers on here. And this one here. Oh, I'm still in super zoom. Whoops. Well, no, let's just leave it in super zoom. Screw it. And then this guy goes back into... Shoot. How's this go? Should go in there like this, right? Or does it go in like this? I don't freaking know. This is why I hate high grades, you guys. We'll get this here eventually. Don't you worry. Maybe. Maybe this goes on before the top of the shoulder. I think that's the problem. Or maybe the shoulder just wasn't squeezed together enough. That could be the problem too. Yep, there we go. Now we're in business. Yeah. All right, so now we put the shoulder, the top of the piece back together, and haha, there's the look. There's that look. Yeah? That, my friends, is a good damned look, if I do say so myself, and I do. So that looks nice. That is a good little detail right there. Look at that. Yeah. And you know, that'll be kind of semi-high prominence, being part of the shoulder, right? Let's zoom out just a wee bit here, right? Just to right about there. You can kind of see how that all comes together. That's really good. I really, really like that. You know, because you have the housing unit kind of bordering everything, right? And you've got this part in here that it looks like it's hinges and everything like that, and it just, man, looks really, really good, right? Now, for comparison's sake, let's show you what it looked like before and after. So there you go, before and after. I think the after looks a lot better, in my opinion. In my opinion, yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think? You guys like it? I like it. I like it. Let's get caught up in the chat here real quick. Yeah. Chris Pabs. He's over there on YouTube. Nico. Yeah, he says that's how we do it in the new world, right? Good man. I love Nico, man. He's such a good dude. But Chris Pabs says guide tape should be flexible enough to go around that piece. Trust me, it's not. That you got to remember. This is only 1 millimeter in diameter. 1 millimeter. It's not going to hold. It's not going to hold. Trust me, I've tried. He says if you don't feel comfortable freehanding, but have MadWorks / Haiku tape. Yeah. George says, you're 100% right about MadWorks scribing tape. And Chris Pabs says, it's just not good, at least for me, no adhesion. I'm jealous of the super zoom feature. Yeah, dude, you need a Canon for that. It's within the Canon desktop software. And it's just a digital zoom. It's not like optical or anything. So it just blows everything up. So it is what it is. John Lynn's over there on YouTube. She says, Tim making a book about this stuff? I'll take 20 copies. I need this wizard modeling secret. Nice. Thank you, John Lynn. Sam L says, Tim needs to put a little X on your May so you know where dead center is. Yeah. No, all on your mat. Yeah. Well, see, I tried, right? I tried that with this little dot here. But with the mounting and remounting of the camera and mounting and remounting of the lenses, the arm has, and the camera has a tendency to stray every once in a while. So it's never quite perfect, but the dot here is actually kind of my little marker. Yeah, so just one of those things. Sam L says, I like it. Chris Pab says, I think that dot on the map might be a spot. Yeah. George says, so good. Chris Pab says, see? Great minds, man. Damn right. So, with that being said, that's kind of step one here in this detailing process, right? I just, there's something about this stupid little light detail that is just so universally good for mecha, Gunpla, whatever, in general, right? I mean, hell, you can even use this on, like, your Natchin tanks or your Mackay or whatever, right? There's just something so universally good and accepted for this little stupid feature, right? Because you got to think about it. You think about like aircraft, especially, right? Like you know, airliners and stuff like that. They have the lights on the wings and all that good stuff. So it kind of goes to reason. Why would mobile suits not have something like this, right? Especially kind of when you know, when taking off from their carrier or landing or what have you, you know, obviously they would want to turn them off when, you know, when they're out fighting. But this is a good detail, and I always use it ever since I kind of thought of it, right? Terry T says that detail is everywhere on AOZ designs. Maybe that's why I love the suits from that series so much. Actually, there's a huge difference. Where mine goes to simulate a light, the ones for Advance of Zeta, they are just kind of like round bars that are kind of a, a thing, right? Chris Pab says it's a massive Sentinel design feature. Sort of, yeah. But honestly, I don't know if anybody, and I'm probably wrong by this, but I don't know if anybody did it before, at least like this. And like I said, I'm probably wrong. Somebody probably thought of it way before me. But still, I love using this little detail simply because it's so good and it just adds so much to, the entire part. It just makes it look mechanically more realistic, right? So, one of those good details. One of those little good goods, right? Now, we're not done yet. We're not done. It's 4:21, but we're not done. So let's go back to normal zoom, and let's get rid of the box. Pull our windows back up here. All right. And let's break this thing down a little bit more here, shall we? Now, let's zoom in. Whoop, here we go. Now, it's kind of... yeah, it's impossible to see here because this piece is so blown out, but there is a pre-molded panel line right here. Just like this, right? It goes right there. Now, what I think I'm going to do is take advantage of that pre-molded panel line and kind of make that a physical design feature, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. But let's get this shoulder broken down just one more time, right? And we're gonna focus on this little bumper piece here, right? Let's get kind of pull that piece off there. Now, what I mean by a physical design element is this. What we're gonna do is we're actually going to plate over this particular piece, right? And we're probably going to need a 4mm. What size is this? This looks like 4.8. Whoa, calipers are way off. There we go, zero those out. And yeah, that's a 4.8mm piece. That's probably a little too big for what we need. Let's see. That is also 4.8. That looks like maybe it might be a 4. No, that's 3.2. Jesus. Where's my 4.0? Here it is. I think this is it. Boom. 4mm. Good. That's 0.75. Yep, perfect. That's what we wanted. That's exactly what we wanted here. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take advantage of this pre-molded panel line, and we're going to use that as a demarcation for plating here. And we're going to bump up all of this material here, and that's just going to look like a raised piece, right? And it will really kind of throw it off and look really, really cool. But first, we need to clip off a chunk of plastic here, maybe a little bit more. There we go, that should be good. And we're just gonna place that right about there, right onto that pre-molded panel line, right? And what that does, it runs right up into this little corner, right? This little corner right here, little indent. And that's going to help even better sell the illusion of part separation, right? So what we'll do, get this little guy in our tweezers here, and then since we already have the section already kind of set aside, we'll just put a drop of super glue on there. Spread that out a little bit, and then
we can just easily place our piece. Now it's nice and floating there. And right about there. That's where we want it to be. Perfect. Alright, so we'll hit this with a little bit of Instaset. Why is the Instaset not coming out? Oh! Weird. Got clogged up there for a second. Alright, good deal there. So we'll give that a few seconds to cure fully. Let's get caught up with the chat here just real quick, right? Let's see. Chris Pab says none of the ideas are original. None of our ideas are original, man, but that's okay. We make it our own. Fuck you, Pabs. Kyle Hammond, he's over there on YouTube. He says the lights are practical and real-world feature brings out the sci-fi and makes it seem more lifelike and realistic. Absolutely, right? Chris Pabs, yeah, our. None of your ideas are original, Pabs. I'm sorry. Totally joking. Lyle Lagria, sorry, Lyle. He's over there on YouTube. Really like how the GPO 1 and 2, they add red and green lights to the shoulders of the mobile suits. Kind of like they're supposed to signal directions when they're leaving hangars or moving in bases. I agree, right? VFX10 Viper, Josh, he's over there on YouTube. What you're doing to the shoulder, you'll probably do the same to the front skirts. Probably? Yeah. Because we're just, you know, the whole thing, the whole kind of theme to the unicorn is plates moving around, right? So we're just adding more plates, making it more complex looking, I guess, right? So, yeah. Terry T, I think AOZ details are bars to hold on while in space. They are always colored in red. Yeah, red or yellow. They're always fully one color too, right? I don't know what they are, but they're definitely a unique design aesthetic to Advance of Zeta. John Lynn says, I just think the details are snazzy. Me too. Me too. All right. So let's get back to this. Looks like the Instaset is almost completely dry. We'll just kind of clean off the little bit that's not here. All right. And now just clip off the little bits that we don't need. Just like all that. We just want to sneak up on kind of the material and everything. We don't want to try and trim it with the nippers straight out of the gate, right? But you can kind of see there how we're starting to form that material bump, right? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to trim this flush. Be careful of your fingers, Chris. There we go. That side is nice and trimmed flush. Now we'll do the second side here. See, the trick is to keep your fingers out of the way of the blade, Chris. Because you see how I have my digits placed? See, my thumb is below the cutting line. My other finger here is below the piece, so it has zero chance of getting cut. Now, yes, the other day I made a rookie mistake. We all have that. All right. Last but not least, this top part here. And the good thing is we only need to trim this back flush with the piece, right? Yeah, there we go. And see, there we go. See how that piece is now padded out, bumped up? That's looking really good. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other two sides here and really kind of sell that look. Now we might, well, we might not need the 4.8. We might be able to get away with the 4mm. So yeah, let's go with that. And we're just going to clip a couple pieces here. And we're going to start padding this out. Just like that. And spread out the super glue here. Good. Then place that piece right along that edge. This, my friends, is how we plate up a piece. Now you can call this plating, you can call this plat plating, laminating. There's a bunch of different names that you could potentially label this practice, right? I call it plating, right? Now, one thing that we are going to do is we are going to backfill this little gap right here between the actual piece of styrene and the original part. So to do that, we just take a little bit of super glue. We just kind of daub that right into that gap, and that's going to fill that void there really, really nicely. And then once we go to trim it, it'll be completely flat, right? Now, hit this with a little drop of Insta-Set there, a little on top, and we'll let that sit for just a second while we get caught up with the chat here. Chris Pab says, LOL, speak for yourself there, Timothy. Julius Dembski, Sarge, he's in the audience. What's up, Sarge? He's got a question, though.
We have a question.
Sarge asks, Tim, have you ever thought about making a resin kit from your designs and then selling them? No. Well, I take that back. Somewhat. Like the Dormarsh sword, the big sword that we made for the kind of put on hold custom Gelgoog. I kind of thought about maybe doing that. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe weapons. But not full-blown kits. No, never. Never, ever, ever. I will never do full kits like that. Mainly because I'm being selfish and I want them to be unique in and of themselves. I don't want anybody else to have the same model that I do. You know, it's just it's one of those things. It's just one of those things. I just no. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And if you don't do it while it's like before it's primed and painted, if you don't do it at that stage, it'll destroy the model. It'll completely destroy your paint job and decals and all that. So you can't do it after the fact, right? You have to do it before priming and painting and all that. And that's a lot of money. You guys don't understand how much money goes into casting a kit. Obviously, you see the costs of resin kits, right? And why they're so expensive, because the production of them is very expensive. The mold rubber, you have to break it down so pieces actually are moldable, right? So those are all components of resin casting that you have to take in consideration, and there's a lot of time invested into making a mold. You know, you got to make sure that the mold works, and then that mold only has a finite lifespan. You can only get so many pulls out of a mold, then you have to remake it. So then that's double the cost, double the time, and who knows if people are even going to buy them, you know? So that's another minor reason, but I just like having a unique model. That's the main reason. That's the main reason. So, but good question, Sarge. Very good question. Lucas says Tim's going to upload them so people can 3D print them. I'd have to know how to design in 3D first. George says, "Do it, Tim. Weapons." George is thirsty for some weapons, it seems like. John Lynn says, "I'd buy a Tim designed mecha. That'd be fucking rad." Maybe. Julie Stemsky says, "I can respect that." Thank you, Sarge. George, Mr. Old School Gunplay, he says, "I agree with you, Tim. It's an original." Yeah. Kyle says, "So you're telling me there's a chance?" No. There is no chance. Not at all. Just the weapons that there may be a chance. Everything else, nope. Nope. Not going to happen in this lifetime. Let's put it that way. All right. So back to this piece. Let's get this other part trimmed down here. And like I said, you don't want to try and trim everything off here with the nippers. You want to let the hobby knife do the bulk of it, right? So let's get this top part trimmed first. Make sure my digit is out of the way. Just like that. Looks pretty good. All right, and then this part here, clean the blade off. This is the important surface right here because it's going to be seen. So you want to get this as clean as possible. We'll go back and sand these gaps once we got these trimmed down. That looks pretty damn good there. All right, and then the last section here. Just like that. And then this back section here that we backfilled with super glue, we're gonna just scrape this down. Maybe go in and try and trim that super glue down just a bit. You know what we'll do? We'll get one of our files here. Really kind of go to town. Good, 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 good. Actually, what we can do, where it is? Here it is. We can utilize our little grinding plate here. Just kind of really flatten this whole thing out. Yeah. Ooh. Pretty. Pretty. Pretty damn good is what it is. Alright. Do the same thing with the front here. Very Very nice, very nice. All right, so one last surface that we have to pad up here. And what time is it? 4:40. Good, 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 good. We've got we got a good amount of time here. Let's see. Lucas says I was joking. Oh, I know, dude. But they have cameras. They have cameras that scans whatever into 3D. Oh yeah, trust me. I know they're expensive, right? But nah. He says I want to 3D print Tim's finger as sleeve and gift it to Chris Pabs like a thimble. That would be pretty damn funny. That would be pretty funny. I got to admit. I have to admit that. All right. So now, the one thing that we have to consider about this bottom part here is that if we go this route and keep it flat, right? We need to follow this pre-molded line there, right? So let's get this darkened in with the pencil first. That way, it'll make placement of the strip a little bit easier. And actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go with the 4.5 on this, or 4.8. And let's see if we've got the 3/4 millimeter. Yep, this looks like the 3/4 millimeter. This is going to give us a little bit more plastic to work with. Perfect. Because it's a wider strip, we can overhang on both sides and not worry about our placement too terribly at that point, right? We can have we can be a bit looser with placement and all. So we're going to cut a pretty decently sized strip, maybe even not that much though. Right there should be good. All right, and then get that placed there, and we'll pop a drop. Maybe a bigger one. Yeah, that's good because this is a little bit of a larger surface than the other two. And we'll just get this nice and spread out here. That looks pretty good. And then we can place our strip very nice, very nice, and then just press that into place. Really good, really, really good. All right, so now I don't even think we need any. Well, we do. We need just a little bit more super glue there at the bottom just to kind of fill in that gap. So we're going to get our little palette here. Just kind of daub that in to that gap. And that's going to fill that in pretty nice. Kind of be generous with that super glue on these little voids and everything, because that will eventually sink into that gap, and we want to make sure that that fills appropriately, right? And it actually looks like there's a nice gap on the top side here too. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually get a bit more super glue on that palette. And we're going to be quite generous with this top side gap because, like I said, this is the side that's going to be highly, highly visible to the viewer. So we want to make sure, let's get this overhang trimmed down just a bit so we can work a little bit better. filling these gaps here. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. All right, let's hit this with a bit of bloop, right there. And then spin this around. Hit this backside with that, and there we go. All right, so we're just gonna let that cure for just a few seconds here, right? Let's see. Fernando Oscar Garaya Oscar. I'm sorry, buddy, for butchering your name. Garayakoa? I hope I'm saying that. Looking good. Saludos. Thank you. Thank you, Fernando. I really appreciate that. And sorry for killing your name. I'm sorry. Let's see. Lucas, Mr. Persistent Turtle, he's got a question. He says, as I build, I still like to incorporate gimmicks. I'm finding it difficult to portray those without just allowing someone to play with the model. Is there anyone else that does this? I like to incorporate gimmicks. I'm finding it. What do you mean by gimmicks, Lucas? Because there's a lot of examples, of gimmicks, quote unquote, that Bandai has incorporated over the years, especially into like master grades and stuff like that. So, clarify that question for me a little bit, and then hopefully we can get you at least some sort of answer, right? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, all right. Let's check back on the part here because we should be pretty good. Yeah, it's still the stuff is still there, hasn't dried yet. So we're gonna dab up the excess, and that should be good enough here. There we go. Yeah. That's solid. Okay, cool. So now we can go back in here and start to trim out the excess off of the part. We're going to hit the rest here with the good old hobby knife. Now, since we've filled these gaps in here, that's a lot of super glue. In these voids here, so we do have to be a bit careful with trimming this down. So we're going to take it a little on the slow side, and we're just gonna kind of do a rough pass first. Nice and slow, just like that. That looks pretty good. And we'll come back with the files and the sanding block and kind of flatten these surfaces out and everything. But so far it's looking pretty good. Okay. Nice. That front part there is looking nice. We just have to, like I said, flatten that out and just kind of finish up the gaps and everything, the seams and all. Let's get this other surface here. This one's a little bit. Whoop, it'd be good if I was on screen. It would be good to. This one's a little bit easier to trim because it's a smaller surface and it's easier to grip the piece. Yeah, there we go. Pretty good. One last finishing pass I think this surface here should be pretty much ready for final sanding. Yeah. Okay. And now we just have to trim the back side here. Again, a little precarious to grip this piece here, but we can do it. We can do it. We can get it done without, hopefully, without injuring ourselves. Yeah. Cool. All right, so now, just to flatten out this backside here, we're going to bring in the grinding plate one more time, and we're just going to do a quick... Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. And let's get the file in here and just kind of really flatten this add-on piece down here. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. Okay, so now we just need to finish off the 3 other sides here. We're going to start with the file. That's looking really good. Very nice. And then we'll hit the front side. There's a little roughness on the front just from the trim cuts and everything, but this filing it like this will smooth everything out and bring everything back to dead even and flat, and just really match those surfaces very nicely. And it just did really good. Really good. Alright, so now we've got a couple more steps to go before we can call this part done. First things first, we need to clean off the squeeze out, the dried super glue on the original piece from the very first piece of plastic that we laid down, right? We just need to clean that out. We'll hit all of this with sandpaper here and get this all buttery smooth here in just a second. But that looks much better. And there's no real glue squeeze out here on this underside, so that's really good. Quite happy about that. And this the problem part of, or the potential problem part, is this little point right here where this hard corner comes down and meets this flat edge. But it looks like that super glue filled it in very nicely, and we're pretty much good to go with that. So very nice. So real quick, we're going to hit this with the file. Just file this surface nice and smooth there. Dead on. Cool. All right, so now we're just going to give this a nice little finish sand with some higher grit sandpaper. This is about 800 or so if memory serves. And we're just going to really smooth this whole thing down. Even though we probably don't even need this right now. But you can't be too careful when it comes to your surfaces, right? Now, yeah, oh yeah, that's just buttery smooth. Fingernail test passes with flying colors. There's no catch to it at all, right? This side, ooh, wait a minute. Ah, okay. Good thing we did it. Because there's a little hardly noticeable super glue remnant right there on that surface. Right here on the leading edge. Now we're good. Now we're good. All right. A little sand on this surface. Yeah. Perfect. All right, so one last step here before we call it quits for this afternoon, and that is to reintroduce the panel separation here between these two parts. So we grab our 0.15 panel line chisel, and we just do a simple outline scribe around this part. Now this is really quite simple because there's only 2 lines that we have to scribe on this particular piece. And they're already basically scribed in for us as long as we place the parts properly, right? That's the overall important thing. All right, so there's that chisel discipline, right? Now, that looks pretty damn good. But I think we can do better. We've got 2 minutes. I think we can do better. Phew. Yeah, let's go. All right. We're going to put a little bit of a horizontal notch in here, right? And this is going to be obviously a larger one at 0.6 millimeter. But I want it to be fully visible and stand out and make it unique, right? Because like I always say, if you're going to be a bear, yeah, be a grizzly. So we're going to one-up this just a bit here. Now we got to get this down to the same level as the panel line, or the panel lining fluid just isn't going to flow properly, right? Yeah. Oh, I'm liking it. There we go. Ooh, baby, yeah. Yeah. Now, obviously, you guys can't see this. We'll super zoom here in just a second. But that looks just buttery nice. For final presentation to you guys, let's get this mounted and all of these nice little parts that we worked on here today. Get all these popped onto this shoulder so you can kind of see what this final, well, semi-final look is going to be about. Oh, that looks so nice. That looks so nice. I like it a lot. Oh, yes, sir. All right. I dig it. As Julio says, I'm with it. All right. 5X. Pull back just a wee bit so you can see all of the goodness. And then, final reveal. There she is. Yeah. Ooh, you know what we can do? Hold on. Hold on. Make this even better. Can it get better? I don't know if it can. Yeah, it can. I'm lying. Wee bit of this watercolor action here, so you can kind of see. So it separates the parts a bit better here. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Look how nice that looks. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. Hell yeah. That's satisfying. That's satisfying. Look at that. That's all bumped out and looking good. And what it does, and I'm just now noticing this. This is inadvertent, but what I'm now noticing is this piece right here, this bump out piece that we created, kind of almost mimics this top piece here that stands out. So you kind of have a flow almost right there, right? And yeah, that's just super duper nice. See how that's all just cleanly separated and everything? That just looks really good. And then you got the little notch right there that'll stand out very nicely once this is properly painted and panel lined, obviously. This watercolor stuff is not the greatest. So, yeah. It looks pretty damn good. Pretty damn good, right? So, Robert Cottrell, he's over there on the Mecha Army Facebook group. He says, Tim, have you used any of the Squadron tools, and did you like them? The only Squadron tool that I think that I have is the little putty spatula deal. We used it the other day when we were working with, here it is, when we were working with the epoxy putty and everything, and it's this little guy right here, right? It's got the kind of, dull spatula end here, but then it's also got this kind of weird golf club shaped thing at the end, and it's got the, nicely knurled, I think this is Squadron. I can't remember because it's been so long ago. But yeah, I think that's the one. Anyway, let's get caught up with the YouTube. Let's see. Wow, you guys were talking a lot, weren't you? Oh yeah, let's get caught up to Lucas, his persistent turtle. He says, like, I'm designing shields and back pieces on my turtle mech that are wearable, but also pop off, unfold to reveal weapons or act some other purpose. Yeah, I mean, I think people kind of build some of those types of gimmicks into their pieces. Yeah. It really depends on the person, and it depends on the piece, I think, too, you know? So it's a very kind of dependent type of design idea, right? So, yeah. But Julio's over there, Mr. Clippin' Nubs. Let's get caught up. Working on some stuff. Good. Lucas, Mr. Persistent Turtle, says, as a diorama, I'm like, how would one know unless I build two identical Gundams? Armor on, armor off. Well, that is kind of always the conundrum that you run into, right? Because when you present a piece, it is, unless it moves, which many don't, is a static pose. even if it's still flexible, movable, it's going to be presented statically, right? So that's the kind of hurdle that you have to kind of overcome, right? There's a Japanese modeler, D3845, something like that. Anyway, some D and then some numbers. I'm sure Handren or somebody will know exactly who I'm talking about. But he builds high grades, but he builds them to like this godlike level where he's got hinging hatches and opening this and just super tiny details that he builds into it. But then when he finishes it, nobody knows that they're there. So you do definitely you lose a bit of, I don't know, a bit of that impact, that visual impact. You lose that in the static pose, but honestly, you know that it's there. And that's ultimately kind of the most important thing, or at least in my opinion anyways. So if you want to, build it. Screw it, right? So, yeah. Chris Pabs, LOL, that dab emoji had me amazed on Saturday, right? Jesus. Oh, man. Henry says, George left you a message on IG, in for a bit of DMC. Aw. Chris Pab says, I love that DMCs are catching on. For those of you that don't know, DMC stands for Deep, Meaningful Conversation. It's a Chris Pab's original idea. But Julio says, DMC is doo-doo. I think that's debatable. All filler for depression. Julio, man, killing me. You're killing me, son. You're killing me. Chris Pab says, if you're going to be a bear, don't be boo-boo. That's fair. That's fair. Henry says, and watch them digits, right? Julio says, if you're going to be a bear, maul everyone. Jesus. Hendren says, looks nice, Tim. Thank you, Hendren. Appreciate that, buddy. Chris Pab says, aren't you glad I suggested these rivals? Yeah, sort of. I still hate the unicorn, man. It's just, I really don't like that. But, Sam L says, looks like it should have been there already, right? It's just kind of an enhancement of the piece. Hendren says, Tim, you can chamfer that bottom piece to mirror the top. I could. I think I want to leave it sharp like that, right? Because the bottom of this existing part of the shoulder is nice and sharp. So I think I want to leave that I think I want to leave those edges sharp. So, yeah. I was kind of thinking that too, but then I thought otherwise. George says, he's very clean. Aaron says, fixing to get the squadron paint mixer. Gotcha. Yes, I love that guy. His name is very hard to remember. Yeah, the D3845, whatever. Someone give me an energy drink. I'm sleeping in Tim's class again. Zero Kai, Nathan, nice. Very good, very good. All right, so, kids, that will do it for today. We got some decent stuff done. We got this nice little bump out piece plated up. We got this little guy right here, little light and some notches and chiseling and stuff there. We got all that done. Good stuff. Good amount of work. Good amount of work. Now I just have to duplicate it all. Fun. So come on back tomorrow, you guys, for the normal afternoon streams, and then come on back tonight because we're going to be pulling out the GBWC build, and we are going to be continuing working on that. So come on back in about, a little less than 5 hours. And then, yeah, so good stuff. So hope you enjoy everything. But if you want one of these awesome Bear Guy t-shirts, which I know that you do because they are awesome, there's a link on www.chadamecha.com. Can't even say my own freaking URL. Hit the store button up at the top. You will find this, shirts, many more, hats, prints, all sorts of really cool stuff. Go load up on some of that good. If you are interested in any of the tools and materials that we worked with here today, there is a link, now that I'm pointing directly, and correctly, I might add, down here on YouTube, maybe Twitch if it is even happening. I don't even know. That side, if you're watching on Facebook, I do get a bit of a commission based off the stuff that you buy, but it goes to help out the stream and me. Hey. So go load up on that stuff. There's a lot of good tools and materials, and we're constantly adding to the list of useful stuffs in there. And then, as always, if you need kits, paints, Mecha Decals, which are amazing, by the way, best in the world, hit up our good friends right down here at USA Gundam Store. Adam and his crew will definitely have what you need. Yeah. So, like I said, come on back tonight for the nightly stream where we work on the GBWC. Come on back tomorrow afternoon to see me continue working on the Team SD Buildoff. And, yeah, we'll just keep rocking and rolling. Don't forget, end of the week, Friday, we got Mechanism. That's always fun. And if you guys missed the semi-professional that we were calling it? Business casual. It was a fun show. I think everybody had fun. I had fun. I had fun watching Julio get dressed up in his button down and everything. That was good. Anyway. All right, so you guys, I will see you later on tonight, and if I don't see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. So, take care, keep safe, wash your hands, build something cool. I'll see you guys later. Bye.